How's it going, everyone? Data here, and we are back with episode 4 of the Philadelphia Flyers franchise mode here on NHL 22, headed into the year number 1, 2023 postseason. Now, it's been almost 2 weeks since the last episode. If you've been following along on the Discord server at all, you'll know that I took a little bit of a pause from all recorded content on the channel in the last week and 2 weeks because we had the real-life draft, the real-life free agent frenzy. So there's been a big focus on the real world of hockey, and now we're coming back to our recorded content. We've had the Yuri Slavkovsky career simulation, which came out recently, welcoming lots of new people to the channel. We'll have the Shane Wright simulation soon, MLB The Show 22 franchise mode, more Flyers, more Thrashers, and much more here on the channel. So we're getting back into that. After all the real life content, I took a few days off, and now we are back with Flyers franchise mode. Many new faces since the last episode, over 100 new subscribers with many new faces coming from the Slavkovsky career simulation. So if it is your first time watching a franchise mode video here on the channel, you'll see that this video is about an hour 10, hour 20, maybe even hour 50 long. I always change it up for the playoff episodes because there's nothing I hate more in my franchise mode series when I'm watching franchise mode on YouTube than a playoff episode that's 30 minutes long. You know that the team isn't going far. So we may very well be done after 35 minutes, and then it's just going to be an hour of a black screen. I'm going to play a little bit of music and whatever else, so if you could let that video just run in the background for a bit, whether you mute it or not, that would be very much appreciated. It would help out the video a lot. Yes, it would make more sense to make the video shorter so that, higher view times and all that stuff, but I'd rather lose out on a few dollars of monetization and be able to have everyone enjoy the postseason here much more. So that's my philosophy behind it. Hope that you'll enjoy this episode regardless of how far we go in the postseason. In the last one, we finished year number 1 in Philadelphia with a record of 47, 29, and 6, but we finished off the year a bit slow, going 4-6 and 0 in our final 10 games. Our final 20 games weren't that hot either. We had a great season from our future captain, perhaps, Sean Couturier. 35 goals, 62 points in 77 games. A huge breakout season from recent buyout in the real world, Oscar Lindblom, 57 points in 82 games. Many people were suggesting, maybe we just restart the Flyers franchise mode now that the Flyers had a really tough off season so far in 2022. The only problem is that any franchise mode begins in 2021. So to begin 2021 with 2022-23 rosters, things would be a little mixed up. So that's why we're just going to continue what we're doing so far. Travis Konechny, 51 points. The second line had struggles with plus-minus. Konechny, Farabee, and Tippett were all negative. And Frost were all negatives. Negative 20 to 23 respectively there in the middle. Ivan Provorov, solid year, but tough, plus-minus a bit as our big defenseman. Our big move of the episode, which I wanted to hear back from a lot of you about, was the acquisition of Phil Kessel and Paul Stastny from the Arizona Coyotes, with a top 6D defensive prospect and a couple of 4th-round picks in exchange for Cam Atkinson and Kevin Hayes. Now, it hurt because those are two very good players who, well, they're doing all right. They have overall, they're loved here in Philadelphia. But to free up cap, get good players for a postseason run, and give Arizona exactly what they were looking for, leadership and money from good players, I think it just really made a lot of sense. Phil Kessel, since he came to Philadelphia, played 19 games. He scored 11 points as a third liner, playing on the power play as well. So very nice there. Paul Stastny in a bottom 6 role in 19 games, scored 7 points and power play time as well. So great to see that from the two veterans. We had a lot of rookie seasons as well. Taking a look at our lineup here, we had a rookie season from Morgan Frost, who had big ice time, playing a lot of second line minutes. Rookie season from Bobby Brink. Rookie season from Isaac Ratcliffe. Rookie season from Wade Allison. So this team performed very well, I do have to say. Punching a bit above our weight as our power play really carried us, second best in the NHL. That plus-minus of the second line tells you that there were definitely some struggles. But our defense was solid. Provorov and Allison the second pair with a +5. Ristolainen and Sanheim did amazing. And goaltending, Carter Hart now up to an 85 overall, the best season of his career so far. A 38-win season, .915 save percentage, and 2.58 goals against average. His best season as a starter, I guess you could say, but best season I think overall. Really good numbers from him, and we're looking forward to big things in the postseason perhaps. And speaking of the postseason, our opponents in round number 1 will be the Detroit Red Wings. As we saw last episode, a very familiar face in Detroit, as we will have to face former captain Claude Giroux, the second line center of the Red Wings. On top of that, they have Thomas Hertl. They have growth from guys like Raymond and Bertuzzi. They have a solid lineup core as well. So this is the team that we're facing here in round number 1. Joe Veleno up to an 83. Defensively, they have Shane Gostisbehere, another former Philadelphia Flyer, playing top pair with Phil Peronic. Miller, Leddy, Osterley, and Murphy finishing off the top 6. Goaltending, it's Alex Nedeljkovic, backed up by 82 overall, Sebastian Cossa. Scratch, they have Brett Kulak and Pius Patrick Kane-Suter. So it's a very good lineup here in Detroit. They had less wins than us. You know, they finished below us in the standings as we won the Metropolitan Division. Forgot to mention that here in year number 1. The Red Wings finished 43, 30, and 9, so we had 4 more wins than them. They came into the playoffs in a wild card spot, I believe 7th best in the Eastern Conference. Still a very good year from them. We finished 3rd best in the East, winning our division. But there are still some things to think about headed into the postseason, because like I said, the second line was not great. Defense, can we really keep 2 87s on the second pair, things like that? So with all those questions in mind, we moved to the assistant general managers. A big question as well in the last one was, what do we think about the trade that sent Atkinson and Hayes to Arizona? Scott saying, I like the trade. We dumped 2 underperforming players for some veterans with playoff experience, plus we kind of get to stick it to the Pens with Phil Kessel, and saved some cap. For the playoffs, we definitely need like a free hot dog for every Phil the Thrill goal promotion, or a Philadelphia Philly cheese steak, but with a hot dog instead of a steak. Really hurts the soul seeing Giroux on our first round opponent. Great thoughts there from Scott. We'll keep all of that in mind as we head into the postseason with high hopes and expectations for Phil Kessel. Pens Gaming, speaking of the Penguins, new sub, really been enjoying your content. Welcome aboard, my friend. Definitely was on board with your trades. Makes no sense to sell while your team is on pace to make the playoffs. Picking up some pieces to compete now and giving the young guys some playoff experience while still moving out bad contracts. Depending on what happens in the playoffs, the goal next year should be to keep developing and playing the young players while continuing to push for the playoffs. Good year overall so far. Season performer, Carter Hart, and playoff prediction for the performer that we have, also Carter Hart. Thank you, Pens Gaming. Super Loser liked the trade as well. It got our team vets with playoff experience and some much needed cap flexibility. Definitely a W there. I have noticed in some franchise modes that my team's momentum completely changes after the deadline, which, you know, we saw there, even when I don't make any moves. So EA Voodoo may be the reason the team had such a rocky finish. As for playoff suggestions, I'd put Provorov and Ellis back on the top pair with a very short leash. As for the forwards, I'd give the current lineup 1 game to see how they look in the slow sim and make changes based on that. Great video as always, and good luck on the playoff run. Thank you very much. Etch thinks that freeing up $13 million in cap for the future with only a little decline in talent for the rest of the season is a great trade, so I appreciate that on top of everything that's been said. A good catch here from Nate, who says Provorov's potential over the course of the season went from medium elite to low top 4. I didn't catch that. So he was a medium elite to begin the season. He had a good year and all. Doesn't even drop to high top 4, medium top 4. He drops to low top 4. So that's something to keep in mind moving forward. That hurts us a little bit. His potential, that means his overall is kind of stuck at an 87, might go even down from there, as opposed to medium elite that could have seen him go into the 90s. He signed for 2 more years after this one at $6.75 million, so maybe it'll bounce back after the playoffs, but just something to keep in mind. Adam commenting that Paul Biznasty Bissonnette is in the ear of newly minted Coyotes GM Shane Doan as he helps to facilitate the trade to bring his good friend Kevin Hayes to the desert. Also, with the extra room and cap with this deal, I think it's a no-brainer to sign Oscar Lindblom. We got that extension taken care of. Fan favorite and a good story. Now finishing it off over on the Discord server, The Gritisher says that was a great trade in my opinion. We got replacement level players and a prospect and picks while cutting cap. What's not to like about it? It helps us now and in the coming years. This is so far the best anyone could hope for from an aggressive retool. I would definitely keep the forward lines as is with Lawton and Brink on the 3rd line and Stastny and Allison on the 4th. They seem to be performing better that way. As far as the defense goes, for the playoffs, I would switch Provy and Ellis back to the top pair. Let's make a deep run, boys. Go Flyers. And by the way, I'm going to pretend I didn't see Claude Giroux on our first round opponent's team. I can't handle that kind of emotional stress. Totally understandable. But keeping on the lines here, Addy thinks that the second line's plus-minus has been unacceptable, so he would put Kessel on the second line. He has playoff experience, he's been terrific, and he's the thrill. Big thumbs up on the Atkinson deal, just like Gritisher mentioned. And defensively, Defensively, Allison Provorov, top pair, but then I'm not sure about those second pairs, York and Risto. Risto's been good, so I don't know if I'm going to put him on the third pair, but there's been a lot of people thinking that Provorov and Ellis should probably be back on the first, at least for the postseason. And keeping on that, I see what Beagles Rock says here regarding the top 6. What we did in year 1 with this franchise is fantastic, but still work to be done. The second line of youngsters was good, but not up to par defensively. Plus, as it's their first playoffs, they could use a more experienced player that's good on defense. You find that in Paul Stastny. Let Farabee and Tippett do their thing in the O-zone and have Stastny work in the defensive zone. Ride Kata hot through the playoffs. He's our MVP and got us here in the first place. Go Flyers, go. Love the content data. You got me hooked on franchise mode with NHL 21 Wild Series. Love seeing you succeed. Well, thank you so much for that comment. And that success is not possible without you, so thank you for being a part of it. Final comment here goes to Pat, who adored the trade. Can't wait for the postseason. This team really punched above its weight. Third in the league despite a near even goal differential was a real stroke of good fortune. Even if it's a first round exit, no shame in how this team has played / simmed. Regarding the plus-minus thing, second best power play in the league, but a near even goal differential. Some players were bound to have a shocking plus-minus. Definitely an area for improvement, but it looks worse than it actually is. Also, let's see the rookie stats next video. I want to see how the young Flyers stack up and how the created players did. We had 5 created players in this series based on the top 5 finishing teams of the Data 782 Fantasy League last year that we did. That will be happening again coming up in the next hockey season. So if you want to join in on that, make sure that you're part of the Discord server so you don't miss out. Looking at all the rookies in the NHL, because we had a lot of rookies, as mentioned previously, playing this season. It was Josh Allen, the created player Josh Allen, leading the league. 12 goals, 56 assists, 68 points for the playmaking centerman. He looked great over in Columbus. The first real player here is William Eklund, who scored 61 points in his rookie season with the Sharks. Already an 89 overall. What? That's crazy. Mason McTavish, 56 points with the Anaheim Ducks at an 80 overall. Cole Perfetti, also 56 with the Jets at an 85. Heinz Berger, another created player, 50 points in 80 games with the Devils. Snoop Michael Oliver, the 6'9" power forward, put up 7 goals and 34 assists, 41 points in all 82 games with the Buffalo Sabres. Then we got Frost at 33, Brink at 30, Cam York at 19, Allison 18 down there. And there's the last created player, Fulton Reed. Only played 16 games. He scored 1 goal, was a -3 with the Blue Jackets, 80 overall. I'm not sure if he was a scratch or if he was sent down. And for the only created goaltender, we have Jeffrey Lebowski. He played 17 games with the Kraken, went 9-4-0, 908 save percentage, 2.93 goals against average. Not bad at all. And up to an 82 overall with the Kraken. So there's your update on the rookies and the created players. So with all that being said, thank you very much to all the assistant GMs leaving their thoughts. There were many more than that, already putting a lot into the episode because of how much of a focus there is on the assistant general manager advice. So much appreciated. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all of them in the video, but I do get to all of them in the comments section every single time, so thank you for taking the time to do that. I do think that I agree with the point of Paul Stastny needing to bring some veteran presence to that second line. Morgan Frost already played a big season in his rookie year as a second line centerman. The plus-minus was not good at all. I think we've seen already a good sample size. So I'm happy to bring Paul Stastny up to the second line for the postseason. We're not really focused on maximizing growth and stuff like that in the postseason. No, now we're here to win games. I wouldn't say we're Stanley Cup contenders, but anything can happen, and we're going to give ourselves the best shot at that happening. So I think the rest of the lineup staying as is for the forwards is okay to start like this. Kessel and Tippett maybe swapping would be a good idea. There was a suggestion in the comments for a Brink Frost Tippett line as well. So I could see that happening if Frost comes up, Lawton goes down, and Tippett and Kessel swap. But I think to start the forwards, we'll just go like this. Defensively, I think we will make the swap of going Provorov-Ellis on the top pair. There is an argument that line chemistry doesn't matter in the postseason, or doesn't apply, or doesn't affect, or what in the postseason. I'm not an EA developer, so I can't answer that for certain. But I'm okay with taking away the +5 and getting a +2 and giving more ice time to our more highly rated defensemen. Of course, it's Carter Hart between the pipes with Malcolm Subban backing him up. We have our 3rd goalie, 13th forward, and 7th D-man ready to go. The rest of the lineup, I think, is prime for a big series here against its former captain, Claude Giroux. So here we go, Wells Fargo Center. Claude Giroux is in the building. It's definitely going to be bittersweet for him and for a lot of the fans, but it is the first postseason under GM Data and his team, so let's get this party started. Game 1, round 1, first period, and it starts off early. Ooh, okay. so Paul Stastny opens it up with his first playoff goal as a Flyer. Love to see that as he's playing that second line role. But Claude Giroux knows this building well, and he ties this game up just about 3 minutes after that. And then Hinostroza and Hurdle. That's now 3 goals on 15 shots on Carter Hart through the first period, being outshot 15-10, and we're down by 2. Second period now, 4-2. Lindblom makes it a 1-goal game, and then Shane Gostisbehere, the other former Flyer, restores the 2-goal lead. Shots 25-20 for Detroit, and it is once again a 2-goal game headed into the final 20 minutes. Lindblom and Stastny are 2 scorers. That top 6 power play now, the second or third best in the NHL, I forgot what it was in the NHL, but no conversion, on that first power play opportunity here in the third period. We're getting late in the game now. Shots are tied at 30, but no goals coming, and it will end 4-2 the final, even though we end with the shots 32-30 in our favor. Hurdle with a goal and an assist, Phil Peronik with 3 assists, and Alex Nedeljkovic makes 30 saves to give the Detroit Red Wings the 4-2 win in game number 1. Alrighty, so a tough way to start it off here. It's not a horrible showing. I'd want to check out the plus minuses after that first game and make sure no one's like a -3 or -4 in a 4-2 game. Let's see the lines. First line ends up Lindblom scoring that goal. He ends up -2, -3 from Couturier and Konechny, +1s from the second line, zeros, -1 there from Lawton. Fourth line, okay. Defense, Provorov +1, Sanheim, York, and Ronnie there. Not great on the third pair, all right. And Carter Hart, 866 save percentage that game. I don't think we'll change anything. I think it was okay enough to say let's keep rolling with it. Morgan Frost, he probably needs a bit more ice time. Lawton is good, but he has special teams as well. So let's put Frost with Brink and Kessel. That's 2 playmakers, though. It might not work as well. Maybe Lawton also on the third line. Lawton with his 80 faceoffs, but he can play left wing, and Ratcliffe is able to play center. So we go Brink, Ratcliffe, Allison on the fourth, maybe, for the postseason. Because we're not really focused on growth, as I've said previously here in the postseason. We can allow ourselves to do a bit more. I think we'll stop with that, but I'm tempted to put Farabee on the first line. Don't want to make too many changes there. Those 3 goals in the first period, hopefully it's just Carter Hart getting the jitters out. And in game number 2, he'll be a bit more solid. We can split the games at home and take a best-of-5 series into Detroit. First period of game number 2 now. No scoring. Shots 14-6 for Detroit. More than double. Yikes. Second period now. No scoring again, but the shots once again doubled for the Red Wings. 24-12 at the moment. We got to get this fixed, boys. Let's go. Third period. Let's see some offense from the top 6. And there it is. Ryan Ellis on the first defensive pair. Finally giving us a little bit of ROI, return on investment. 1-0 Flyers with 9 minutes to go. Shots are 32-19, and we're hanging on to that 1-goal lead. That shot from the blue line that made it through traffic. 2 minutes to go. Final minute. And Owen Tippett will add an empty netter as we win game 2. 2-0 the final. Shots end 34-21. That's what we needed to see from Carter Hart. A huge bounce back game, getting a 34 save shutout in game number 2. Game-winning goal to Ryan Ellis. Thank you very much. And this series is now tied at 1, headed to Little Caesars Arena. I don't think we'll make any changes after that better game 2. We still need to focus on the lack of scoring a little bit, but we were stronger defensively, and let's hope that the lines, and we'll give them a little time to gel. Can't be always changing them up. Let's give them a little bit of time to gel. Little Caesars Arena, we are hot, we are ready. Let's jump into the first period of game number 3. First period, 2-0 Wings early. Okay, Fabry and Murphy scoring 2 goals on 11 shots past Carter Hart. We had 10 shots of our own, though, so at least we're keeping up in that regard. Second period now, 2-1. Oscar Lindblom, second of the playoffs, and we are now leading the shots 23-17, only down by 1. Lots of hockey left to be played now in this third and final period in Detroit. 5 minutes in, nothing yet. We're still outshooting Detroit by about 5. They're coming back in that regard, but now we're pulling away again halfway through the period. We need to get something going here. I'd love a power play opportunity, but we got to be able to get it done 5-on-5, boys. And Adam Ernie scores power play late for us. Nothing comes from it there, and that'll be all she wrote as the Wings take it 3-1 the final. Shots end 33-26 in our favor, but Alex Nedeljkovic, likely the first star. Yeah, 32 save performance from him. That's tough. That is tough now. We have only scored how many goals in this series? We have only scored 2, 4, 5 goals in 3 games. Not ideal. I know we weren't a crazy high-scoring team, but they're not scoring a ton against us either. We can't be losing these games, you know, when they're only scoring 2 or 3 of their own. If they score 6, I understand. But Lindblom's been good. Couturier, 1 assist, -4. Konechny, -5. Okay, so Konechny's coming down to the second line. Farabee's going up to the first line. We'll go Konechny, Stastny, Tippett on the second. Yeah, that's been a good line. So hopefully Konechny can wake up a little bit. Third line's been okay. Kessel has not been scoring, but he's out there. He's playing over 14 minutes a night. And defense, +2s, all that. Okay, -3 from York. -4 from Ronnie. Come on, Ronnie! Okay, Ronnie's coming out. Just for a little playoff experience here. That all-rookie third pair. Maybe it needs some Michael Stone inside there. Michael Stone, 6'3", 32 years of age, 78 overall, and has a lot more poise, I believe. 80 poise versus Ronnie. What did he have? I don't know if... 72. Okay, so yeah, maybe that does something. Who knows? But we'll make that little change right there, and hopefully the offense can follow suit. Game 4 now at Little Caesars Arena. First period action ready to go as the puck is dropped in Detroit. First period, 2-0 Flyers. Thank you very much. And both goals are from Philly favorite Oscar Lindblom. 2 power play goals, and it's 2-0 Flyers. Thank you very much. Second period now, still 2-0 remains. So headed into the final period, we are outshooting Detroit 23-20. 2 power play goals from Oscar Lindblom. The reason for us being up right now, but we need to add to it. We need to see some of that 5-on-5 offense, boys. And there's Cam York, who's playing with Michael Stone on his side. 3-0 Philly. We've only scored a few goals in this series, but 2 of them from defensemen. No power play conversion there late in the third, and this one will be all she wrote. Nick Leddy breaks the shutout late, which is unfortunate, but we still outshoot Detroit 33-29, and only allow 1 goal on 29 shots. I'm happy with that. Oscar Lindblom, first star honors with those 2 goals, 28 saves from Carter Hart, who has another bounce back game. It's been bad, great, through this series. Hopefully the trend stops as we're headed back home to the Wells Fargo Center. 4 goals in 4 games for Oscar Lindblom, and it is now a best of 3 for the Flyers and the Wings. Let's keep the lines as they have been and keep this train chugging along. Here we go. First period, 2-1 Flyers. Konechny scores on the second line. There we go. And Oscar Lindblom scores shorthanded. He has now scored even strength, power play, and shorthanded to give him 5 goals in 5 games. Wow! And a power play goal from Joe Veleno brings the Wings within 1. Second period, now 2-2 game as Claude Giroux. He's still out here. He only scores in Philly. It's 2-2 now. Shots 22-15 for Detroit, and it's a tie game. The winner of this period has a chance to win it this series in Game 6 back in Detroit. Huge 20 minutes here. And Oscar Lindblom, of course, he makes it 3-2. 6 goals in 5 games. 4 in the last 2. Pius Suter ties it up at 3, though. Oscar Lindblom with 4 goals in the last 2 games. Final 5 minutes now. 2 minutes to go into the final minute. Then we're headed to overtime for the first time this series. Shots 33-26 through the 60 minutes of play. But we're still tied at 3, and that means overtime. Overtime here at the Wells Fargo Center. The next team to score will have a chance to win this series in Game 6 back in Detroit. Here is Provorov into Detroit territory to Owen Tippett in front, broken up, but still gets it on net. And Nedeljkovic will lean to his left and cover it up before it makes it through the blue paint. Owen Tippett leading the charge out of the zone, gets it through traffic to Paul Stastny. On net, kick saved from Nedeljkovic. Rasmus Ristolainen finds a little path. Gets it over to Lawton, but he can't get a shot off as his body got like hit in 2 different directions, and somehow he is still fully intact. Zadina coming in. Larkin, nice save in tight from Carter Hart. Out to Sanheim now. Gets board pin, classic. And Larkin fighting for it. He'll get it to the point. Bronick to Ghost. Through traffic, backhand stop by Carter Hart. Defensive zone faceoff now for Paul Stastny and the Flyers. We're at 5:16 left in overtime. This period has flown by with not a lot to say so far. Few saves on both sides. Hronik, Raymond to the point, it's Ghost. Hurdle, Raymond with a little lane, gets it back to the point. Ghost, Hronik dancing along the blue line, gets pushed out of the zone, and he'll have to find a way to get back in. Dylan Larkin finds the entry point, stops up, gets away, finds from connecting, I believe, into the corner, hit. The guy who hit him just tripped over him. Hurdle gets his legs taken out, and now here's Konechny. Travis Konechny going 1-on-2, gets it across to Tippett, and that's poked away. Here's Stone, up to Lawton. Lawton finds a way to sneak in, and he scores! Wonderfully done from Scott Lawton, his first of the playoffs, and the Flyers win it in overtime. Cuts into the middle, finds a lane, right between that classic between the arm and the blocker, trickles past Nedeljkovic, and the Flyers win it with a great snipe from Scott Lawton. I think in the future I'm going to make the periods 10 minutes. I think that's usually what they are, but I played with the settings. Nice shot there from Lawton. Yeah, so it went by a little faster. Probably should have been earlier on in overtime if I changed the periods, but didn't really affect us at all. No power plays or anything happened, so I'll fix the period length back to 10 minutes into the future. Big win for the Flyers, and now we are up 3-2 in this series. Shots in this one ended 38-33, so I think it's a trend that the team with less shots continues to win. Scott Lawton gets second star of the night with that big goal, 4-3 the final. Alright, so after that big win, we are now 1 win away from headed to round number 2. We're in Detroit looking to win this series in 6. Speaking of the number 6, 6 goals in 5 games for Oscar Lindblom. We're not going to touch the lines. I think things have been going well enough so far. We've outscored Detroit 7-4 the last 2 games. So let's keep it as is, looking to close out this series in Detroit, Game 6. First period, 1-0, 2-0 Detroit. Bertuzzi scores early on the power play, then Lucas Raymond even strength with 5 minutes to go. Shots tied at 13, but it's 2-0 Wings as they'll be fighting hard on home ice to stay alive. Second period now, 2-1. Michael Stone. Back to my problems in the Anaheim Ducks series in NHL 20. Michael Stone. His first playoff goal as a Flyer. First goal as a Flyer, too, I'm pretty sure. And probably first playoff goal and goal in general in a very long time. Shots 25-21 for Philly. And Michael Stone has brought us within 1 of the unlikeliest people. There he is. Let's see some top 6 offense. Let's see some Phil the Thrill. Let's go. Third period, 5 minutes through, still down by 1. Shots are 30-23 at the halfway point. Still looking for it. Power play opportunity for Philly. Killed off. Power play Detroit. 5-on-3, 5-on-4. We kill it all at the shorthanded goal from Rasmus Ristolainen. Of all people, power play late for Detroit. They'll start overtime on the power play. Shots and 35-30 for the Flyers, and our 2 goals in this one come from Michael Stone and Rasmus Ristolainen short-handed from behind the red line. What in the world? Could that be enough to get Philly through to round number 2? Let's see overtime. Overtime in Detroit at Little Caesars Arena. A goal for the Flyers puts them through to round number 2 for the second time, I believe, in 4 years. And a goal for Detroit pushes this series to 7 back in Philadelphia. Larkin coming in, broken up now. As they change, and power play Detroit, by the way. So we're killing it, and Lindblom clears it out. Very well done. Still another 20 seconds on the power play for Detroit. Lucas Raymond with the puck over the blue line, looking for something. Hinostroza to Veleno. Great sprawling save from Carter Hart, who just gets his toe on it. The tip of his skate, he swallows up that Raymond shot. And with 10 seconds left on the power play, we'll hang on for the whistle. Here's Scott Lawton now. Penalty's been killed off. Ristolainen looking at the hero, getting that short-handed goal earlier. With the periods now back set to 10 minutes each, as I wanted them to be. Oh, here's Stastny, scores! Paul Stastny, his second of the playoffs, and the Flyers are through to the second round. 3-2 Philly the final as they beat the Red Wings in overtime of game number 6. Oh my goodness, and the Flyers are through to the second round for the first time since, 2020. And before that, they hadn't won a series since 2012. So some playoff success for the fans in Philly. Philadelphia Flyers taking down Detroit in 6 games. Oh, what a crazy save there from Carter Hart. And a great penalty kill. Ristolainen putting the puck on net. Stastny pinching in. Getting the pass down low right here. Great way to sneak back door. And a little backhand pass to Nedeljkovic. 3-2 Flyers, the final. Shots in this one, and 37-32 for Philly. And we're on to round number 2. What a finish to this first round as we took down the Wings in 6 games, games 5 and 6 being won in overtime. It wasn't easy. Oscar Lindblom had to do a lot of carrying here with 6 goals in 6 games. Aside from that, who was scoring? No one scored more than 2 goals. Paul Stastny with 2, including the series winner. Lawton was point per game. Don't forget that. Point per game, Scott Lawton. The only power play goals of the series coming from Lindblom as well. 4 points in 6 games from Stastny and Tippett. 3 points in 3 games from Michael Stone? What? Ristolainen 3 points. Farabee 3 points. How did these guys have all these points? But Konechny has 2. Couturier has 2. Frost has 2. Brink only 1. Kessel, 1 assist in 6 games. Wow. All right. Okay. Goaltending in this one, Carter Hart had a .931 save percentage and 2.07 goals against average. Wow. Didn't even realize that. Nedeljkovic over in Detroit had a .925 save percentage and 2.22 goals against, so can't be blaming him. They struggled to score as well. Claude Giroux led the series in goal scoring. 2 goals and 3 points in 6 games against his old team, but he could not beat Philly. The future is now, and maybe you'll want to come back soon. We'll see the rest of the series in a moment. We'll keep on simulating, and we'll see what's up in round number 2 in the NHL. Okay, round number 1 now complete, and in round number 2, the Philadelphia Flyers will be facing the Carolina Hurricanes, who ended the season 48-34-0. We actually saw them quite a bit during the regular season, of course, being we had very similar records. I want to see a lot of games against them. Ended up that we did a few slow sims, I believe. So on the first line, we got Teravainen, Aho, and Seth Jarvis at an 84. Second line, Svechnikov at an 80. Necas 85, Kotkaniemi 83. So a great top 6. Bottom 6 maybe leaves a bit to be desired. Bach, Martinook, Fost, and Petan, Stahl, and Domi. Interesting. Defense is Slavin, D'Angelo, Shea, Pesci, Graves, and Bear. That's one of the best defensive cores I've seen. And goaltending, it's 87 overall Freddie Anderson, backed up by 84 overall Antti Ranta. They have good depth as well in the healthy scratches. This is not going to be an easy series here. Whew. Let's see a bit more on the Hurricanes and the rest of the NHL in round number 1. So the Hurricanes took down the Capitals in 5 games. In the other Eastern Conference series, the Lightning beat the Leafs in 5, and the Rangers beat the Bruins in 7. In the West, it's going to be Minnesota, Vegas, and Edmonton, Anaheim in the Western Conference semifinal series. Carolina scoring, let's check it out. Ooh, baby! 10 points in 5 games for Svechnikov, 8 and 5 for Teravainen, 6 and 5 for Aho and Necas, and 5 for D'Angelo. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players who are point per game or over on the Hurricanes. Freddie Anderson has a .914 save percentage and 2.97 goals against. So maybe the goaltending is where we can take advantage of them. I don't know, but the scoring is definitely there. So the defense has to be on point, and we got to find some scoring here at the Wells Fargo Center. Game 1, round 2 here in Philadelphia. Who would have thunk it? But we're pushing, and we're not going to stop until we lose 4 games, obviously. We're going to give it our all until that last moment. First period of the second round starts 1-0 Hurricanes. Svechnikov's 11th point, 5th goal of the postseason. Shots 16-8 for Carolina. This might be a tough series, but we got to dig deep, boys. Second period now, 2-0. Martin Necas. Shots are 24-19. We're not playing horribly right now. 3-0 Nick Petan there. 3-1. Okay, Bobby Brink, his first of the playoffs. We're down by 2. Travis Konechny brings us down by 1. Still 15 minutes to go. Power play Carolina. We kill it off. Shots are 32-23 Carolina, but still a half period to go as Brink and Konechny score twice within like 40 seconds of each other. Down by 1 with 5 to go. Final 3 minutes. Any final push here? Oh! Kotkaniemi scores late on Carter Hart. And we drop game 1 4-2. Shots end 36-26. They definitely have a lot of offense to give. Yeah, they got a lot of offense to give. What's up in the plus minuses here? How did we look? -3 from Frost, Lawton, and York. Yikes. Kessel got another assist out there. That's nice. Yeah, Morgan Frost not impressing me in the postseason so far. That's a tough one. Maybe we bring him down. Ratcliffe comes up, perhaps? I don't know. Morgan Frost, talk to me, baby. What do we got here? 2 assists in 7 games. Plus minus of 0. Not bad. Just 1 bad. He was a +3. Now he's a 0. So that wasn't horrible. But Phil, I want to see more from Phil. Tippett only 1 goal in 7 games. Maybe Tippett-Kessel swap is going to do something. Give Frost Tippett to pass to instead. Give Kessel second line time as that veteran with 85 poise and a couple Stanley Cup rings. Let's see it. Defense, we won't touch the defense. Let's just keep rolling like that. Small change in the middle six to try and get a little bit more offense generated. Game 2, just like in Detroit, we dropped one game at home. That's okay. We can drop one game at home. But now we've got to make sure that we win the second one here before we head to Carolina. Game 2, round 2, down 1-0 in this series after losing 4-2 in the first game. First period, 3-1 Philly. That's what we like to see. Slavin opens up the scoring, but then Rasmus Ristolainen, my son, my dear beloved son, Rasmus Ristolainen scores. Owen Tippett on the third line. Thank you very much. I'll take credit on that one. And Wade Allison on the fourth line, his first playoff goal of his career, makes it 3-1 Philly after 20. Second period now, no scoring. Shots are 18-17 for the Hurricanes, but we're up by 2 in this third and final period of Game 2. Power play opportunity for the Flyers, killed off by the Hurricanes 5 minutes in. Shots, not a lot of shots comparatively through like 50 minutes of Game 2 as Game 1. Power play once again for the Flyers, once again killed off by the Hurricanes. 5 minutes to go, still a 2-goal lead for Philly. Can we hang on tight? It looks like we will, and we will. As Patan scores with 15 seconds left. But we hang on for the 3-2 victory, outshot by 1, 27-26. But thankfully, Wade Allison's goal is the game winner and gives him second star. Scott Lawton, 2 assists. Scotty, baby, let's go. Beam me up, Scotty. And Carter Hart, 25 saves for third star honors. And this series now tied at 1, and it will be a best of 5 as we head to Carolina. So I just went ahead and updated the scouting reports. We are now at PNC Arena in Carolina for Game 3 of round number 2. Splitting games 1 and 2 is now a best of 5, just like we had against Detroit. Let's start it off strong. First period, 1-0 Carolina early. It's Ethan Bear, legend of our Seattle Kraken series, big certified bellow. 12-8 the shots for Carolina through 20. Second period, now 3-2 Philly, huge period. As Farabee scores to tie it up, Lawton puts us up by 1. Aho ties it back up, but then Bobby Brink restores the 1-goal lead. We're being outshot 27-19, but it's 3-2 Philly after 40 with a big period from the middle six. I think, well, Farabee on the first line, of course, but Lawton, the point per game pace continues, 9 in 9. Power play Philadelphia, it's an extended one, but it's killed off by the Hurricanes. We come back in the shot department, and Slavin scoring on the power play there ties this game up at 3. Halfway through the third, Carolina once again pulling away in the shots. Power play for the Hurricanes, and Patan scores just as it expires. But Rasmus Ristolainen, my dear beloved son, Rasmus Ristolainen, ties it up at 4. He's done this before to send us to overtime. Shots are 42-30 for Carolina, but it's a 4-4 game, and we're headed to overtime thanks to Rasmus. At PNC Arena, the next player to score will put his team up 2-1 in this series. Thanks to Rasmus Ristolainen, we are here with the game tied at 4. First lines are out for this defensive zone faceoff that Couturier wins, but Jarvis picks up. Aho pushed off the puck. Couturier fighting Jarvis. Aho! Big save from Carter Hart as he slides across the crease. Second line out now. Stastny, Konechny, and Kessel. Phil the thrill looking for his first goal of postseason still. Provorov will fish it out and get up to Konechny, who has a chance here. A little 2-on-1. Konechny stops up, finds a lane. Stopped by Freddie Anderson. Over to Provorov. Here's Phil Kessel on the right wing. No pass to him. He's still looking for his first goal of the playoffs. Provorov's shot goes way wide, but Stastny picks up the rebound off the boards. One-timer that could have been is broken up by Slavin and up to Kotkaniemi now. Kotkaniemi across the ice to Martinuk. Martinuk, little move, but Ristolainen picks it off. He sees it and reads him like a book. Martinuk has a lot of space. Little save there from Hart. He redirects that into the corner. Slavin. Fost. Another save there from the glove of Hart got a piece of it. Over the blue line now. Looking to set something up in the corner in front. Broken up by Ristolainen. And there he is. Rasmus. Gets it up to Tippett now. Across the ice to Isaac Ratcliffe. Big 6'6" Ratcliffe. His shot is hit. Pushed aside. Bobby Brink in front. Anderson's glove is on it and he'll hang on. Ethan Bear, a little bit of space on net, wide open rebound, and Jarvis will put that on the backhand. Big juicy rebound that was not cleared out, and Jarvis gets the backhand to go. 5-4 Hurricanes, the final, in a pretty lengthy overtime here in terms of sitting down and watching it. Not a ton of action, a few big saves both ways, but as always, the AI is pretty hard to watch. Big rebound there that, who's number 23 could have cleaned it up. That's Lindblom, right? Let me see. Yeah, there's Lindblom. who just kind of let it happen. Great. All right, 5-4 the final. The Hurricanes win that one. Shots and 50-36. So the defense was not strong enough to help out Carter Hart tonight. A bit disappointing as we dropped this one in overtime. Okay, so after that 5-4 loss, I'm embarrassed to say this, and it's extremely unprofessional. It hasn't happened in a long time, but if you press the button on your controller once instead of twice when you're recording, then it takes a screenshot instead of a video, and then it erases the video that you had going. So this is really embarrassing, but I do have to update you in the last couple of games because the recording was lost, and it's just like that. Boom, lost, gone. You try to record, you press record the most recent clip on your PlayStation. Nope, it gives you the last 30 seconds. So it's disappointing. I'm sorry about that. After the 5-4 loss, we had a big game bounce back there. We won 8-6. At one point, I think we were up like 7-3. A huge game. We ran Freddie Anderson out of the net. We had a huge night as everyone was contributing. Aside from like Sean Couturier, who had like no points and -4. And it was -3, I think, even in that game where we won 8-6. I don't know what's happening with Sean Couturier, if we need to rethink our first line center or what. But a big 8-6 win. We got outscored 5-2 in the third period. They almost came back and tied up. It was 7-6 at one point. Then we made it 8-6 with an empty netter. So big win there against the Hurricanes. But then in game number 5, we lose 4-2 against Carolina. Another close game. And it was pretty disappointing. We said, what's going on here? Stastny's been playing amazing. Couturier's been doing nothing. Let's bring him up to the first line. And defensively, let's go crazy. Let's bring my dear beloved son Rasmus Ristolainen up to the first pair to play with Ryan Ellis. And we'll go Provorov-Sanheim on the second pair because Provorov has been a negative, or at least barely a positive with not many points. Ellis has 6 points. Let's try him and Ristolainen up on that first pair and roll. Game number 6, a must-win game against the Carolina Hurricanes. And in that game, it was Dominic Bach scoring the lone goal as we lost 1-0 in game number 6 in Carolina. So it's super anticlimactic. It's not like we would have won and by the recording being missed now we lost. This was reality all along. It's just that I'm really sorry that we missed out on, the 8-6 game was entertaining. It had me screaming left and right. But then a 4-2 loss and a 1-0 loss. The Hurricanes were a formidable foe, absolutely. And we end this postseason 6-6 as we are eliminated in 6 games by the Carolina Hurricanes. A shutout in game number 6 from Freddie Anderson. And that is all she wrote for the 2023 postseason, my friends. I could go back a few games even more and restart pretty much the entire series against the Hurricanes, but that's never been something that I've wanted to do on this channel. Whatever happens the first time is what we roll with. We never go back and try to change the simulation, anything like that. So I wouldn't want to, even in my heart, know that this wasn't the real simulation. This is what really happened. Year 1, round 2, game 6. That's how far we went. And I don't want to go back and try to get us into the conference finals or Stanley Cup final just because my controller was giving me issues with the recording. I think we went a lot further than many thought we would. Game 6 of round 2 and game 1 in the first year at the helm. I think that's not too shabby. 11 points in 12 games from Scott Lawton, who was our hero. Lindblom, Stastny did amazing. Tippett was great. Ristolainen was out of this world. Frost did well with 7 assists. Ellis, Konechny, Farabee. Needed a bit more from those guys. Only 2 goals apiece from them. Phil Kessel, 2 goals and 5 points. A bit surprising. The biggest letdown was Sean Couturier, who scored 1 goal and 5 points in 12 games. He was a -7 after scoring 35 goals in, 77 games this season? So that was a huge letdown for us. Stone was crazy with 4 points in 9 games. Ratcliffe, Brink, Provorov, 3 points. Allison, York, Sanheim, Ronnie didn't play much aside from those 3 games. Goaltending, Carter Hart was really the definition of hot and cold. 6-5-1 with a shutout, 914 save percentage, and 2.74 goals against average. I think we can still be proud. The Carolina Hurricanes, Freddie Anderson, 8-3-0. His numbers weren't amazing, but he shut us down when he had to. It was that 8-6 game that ruined his numbers a little bit. And scoring-wise, they still have 1, 2, 3, 4 players at point a game or more. Svechnikov, 19 points in 11 games. So So not to say that, oh no, we kind of had it coming to us. No, like we played hard, but the Hurricanes were extremely, extremely strong, and got to give it to them. It's again, really, really sorry that hasn't happened in a really long time. That's the way that I do my recording. I hit the share button on the PlayStation twice. If you hit it once or hold it a fraction of a second too long, it erases it. It's a very delicate system. It hasn't happened since I think like NHL 20. But I'm really sorry that we missed out on a little bit of that. Thankfully, it wasn't too much. Just the end of round number 2. But with that all being said now, we can now begin simming towards the draft. And as we get into the beginning of the offseason, we'll be able to close out by looking at some ideas of who we think we might be drafting, some potential free agent targets, contract extension possibilities, and all of that stuff to end off our first season in Philly and head into the 2023 offseason. So coming around to the end of the season now, the Florida Panthers fire their head coach. Makes sense after they fired Andrew Brunette, right? The Minnesota Wild win the Stanley Cup. How about that for 2023? That's fun. That's definitely something. We'll get an idea of the playoff tree in a moment. New Jersey jumps from 6-1 in the draft lottery. Islanders jump 3-2. Arizona drops 1-3. Dallas 2-4, St. Louis 4-5, Ottawa 5-6, and so on. Everyone else still the same. We'll be able to see the retirements and all stuff like that. Player progress reports. Retired players in 2023. Who's calling it a career? Jason Spezza does one more year than he does in the real world. 1,019 points, retiring with Boston. Louis Eriksson, Andrew Ladd, Brian Little, a lot of guys who aren't even really playing anymore. Andrew Cogliano retires. Goaltenders, we see Craig Anderson, Ben Bishop, and the legend himself, Jeff Glass. Chris Terry and Craig Anderson now both scouts, so that's cool to see. Not going to do any of those pre-draft interviews. Pro scout on the line, thank you very much. And there we go. So let's check out the awards and playoff tree of the rest of the postseason here. So after the Hurricanes beat us, they went on to face the Lightning, who beat them in 7 before the Wild took them down in 5 to win the Stanley Cup. The Wild took down the Ducks in the conference final in 5 as well. So a very strong postseason from the Minnesota Wild, winning the Stanley Cup. And the Tampa Bay Lightning's three-peat ended as they were trying to go for 4, but they lose in the Stanley Cup final. President's Trophy there, and they have 4 Prince of Wales trophies in a row now. Art Ross goes to Ovechkin, Hart to Ovechkin, James Norris to Quinn Hughes, Lady Byng to David Pastrnak, Calder to William Eklund. Really? Not to Josh Allen. Interesting. Okay. Conn Smythe to Kirill Kaprizov, Vezina to Ville Husso. Okay. Jennings goes to Allmark and Swayman, Masterton to Gavrikov, Jack Adams to the coach of the Wild, Selke goes to Patrice Bergeron over on the St. Louis Blues, Ted Lindsay to Ovechkin, and Maurice Richard to Ovechkin. Any awards for us down in the AHL? None. I'm curious about how the Wild won that Stanley Cup. Kaprizov, 32 points in 22 games. Idle Kallio, that player that we were thinking about last offseason, who we didn't end up drafting because they did not want to trade their pick no matter what. Looks like it was for good reason. He scores 17 goals and has 25 points in 22 games as an 82 overall, the 14th overall pick last season. The Wild did not want to trade that pick even when we offered them an arm and a leg, and it makes sense why. Fiala, who stayed in Minnesota, signing a 4-year deal, gets 20 points. Boldy, Eriksson Ek, Joe Thornton gets his Stanley Cup. What a story! 16 points in 20 games from the 43-year-old 80 overall Joe Thornton. 17 points in 25 games in the season, and then 16 points in 20 games in the playoffs. Wow! That is a crazy story. Love to see him succeed. Love to see the Wild succeed, our former franchise. That's great. Jost, Greenway, Goligoski, Trouba, Addison, and between the pipes it was Ilya Sorokin, backed up by Cam Talbot. Wow, what a team here in Minnesota. Great story. So here we are at the draft, June 23rd, 2023. Let's check out the draft board. Where are our picks for this year? We picked 27th since we won the division, I guess. Hey, that's too bad. We picked 27th in the first round. We have no second. And then we have 3 third-round picks. Looks to be in the 70s and 80s there. Early one from Florida, and then 2 later ones, our own and the New York Rangers. Then we have a bunch of 4th-round picks as well. So those will be interesting. I wouldn't mind trading up because a lot of those later picks are real players. So those real players who are now 20 years old from the QMJHL, whatever, they have AHL potential. They're not really going to be of much interest. So I wouldn't mind packaging a couple of thirds and 3/4 or whatever to try to get a second, for example. Of course, Connor Bedard, the first overall pick, projected first overall pick in this draft, and some other players along the way. A lot of medium elites out there. If anyone catches your eye, let me know. But it's the typical draft class, I believe. few top 6s there. Some real players like Danielson, which is interesting. We picked 27, so it looks like we could probably get Joachim Henritis, defensive defenseman who's a couple of years away. We could get a Lars Forsström, potentially low elite, 3 years away. Guaranteed medium top 6. Mikhail Voinov, who is also 3 years away, medium top 6, probably a two-way forward. Nothing too wild. You always want to look at things in terms of NHL ETA. Looks like everyone around this point in the draft is all 2 to 3 years away, so we have to be trading up for any guys who would be like a 70-some overall. It doesn't look like anyone outside of the top 5 is even NHL ready, so this entire class is 1, 2, 3+ years away. Other potential players that we'll find in the draft here with later picks. 2 bars medium elites later on. I'm sure there's some low elites as well that will be interesting. Yeah, some guys we take a few shots on there. So not really a big year for the draft class in terms of guys we really want to trade up for, but usually those decisions happen mid-draft, so no need to worry about that too much. Progress reports, if you are curious on any player growth, more will happen over the course of the offseason, but right now we have Sean Couturier at an 89 overall, Lindblom up to an 85, Bobby Brink up to an 81, Frost 82, Carter Hart up to an 86. Do we keep Stastny and Kessel? Those will be 2 big questions for us. I don't think there's any other growth that we have here. Don't believe so. Then looking in the system, Wade Allison at 78. We already knew him. Tyson Forster up to a 77. Matthew Savoie at a 76. Enright at a 76. All things to keep in mind here. I doubt there's much more growth aside from that. No, Havelids and McLennan at a 70. Denoyer at a 72. He played a lot of first-line minutes. So I don't think anyone's really going to be making the jump next year. We'll see what kind of growth continues to be had from guys like Matthew Savoie and Forster. But headed into this offseason, we do have a lot of money to play with. Looking at all of the expiring contracts. For Phil Kessel, for example, he would want $3 million to stay. So we could 2.7 for 1 year. We could get him for close to $2 million. We have $26.865 million to play with. But if we remove Kessel and Stastny from the equation, are we looking for a real first-line center, or are we ready to commit to Sean Couturier in that regard? I don't know. We have the money to make moves out there. We can, sign Kessel, Stastny, York, Ronnie Attar. We can sign a lot of these players and still have tons of money left over. Or we could even let players walk and still have all that money left over as well. Not a huge deal in either way, because we're going to have money regardless of whether or not those guys come back. Potential free agents, it's impossible to know who actually makes it to free agency, but if you are curious to see who is out there at the moment, with still a few days left in the re-sign phase and stuff like that, some guys are RFAs, UFAs, but we're seeing big names like McKinnon, Kane, Pasternak, Letang. These guys will be RFAs. Pavelski, Tarasenko, Besser, Haula, Giroux, Bunting, Pacioretty, Bertuzzi, Horvat, Radulov, Uyghur, Hintz, Hornqvist. All these guys likely available some of those guys likely available in free agency. So I think I'll go ahead and end it off there, my friends. It was a disappointing finish, especially that it wasn't all recorded, so I really hate when that happens. It really frustrates me that it's a button on the controller. I do have a capture card for when I do the PlayStation 2 for the Atlanta Thrashers 07 Dynasty Mode series. But I will say it takes up a ton of space on my computer when I record 1 half-hour episode, so I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But I'll end it off there. Thank you for watching. In our first postseason, we go to Game 6 of round number 2. It was a solid year, a successful year. Now, what are we thinking heading into year number 2? How much are we running back? How much are we changing? Are we going to be big players in free agency? Are we content with guys like Kessel and Stastny and use money on one big guy? Or should we be retooling multiple lines, waiting for growth in certain players, cutting other players loose? There's a lot of different options for us, so be sure to let me know down in the YouTube comments or over on the Discord server. The link for that is in the description. If you haven't already subscribed, now's a great time to do so you don't miss out on any uploads here for franchise mode or our upcoming career simulations, MLB The Show 22 franchise mode. I gotta get back on the FIFA career mode. There's a lot going on the channel, especially in the summer, so now's a great time to join in on the team because it's that much stronger with you as a part of it. If you enjoyed this first postseason, be sure to leave a like, and I'm looking forward to reading all of your thoughts headed into the 2023 offseason. So thank you once again for taking the time to watch. I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.